Why do people think the pyramids are in the desert? The fact that I had to haggle everything, learn to respect other people's culture. Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to another episode on my YouTube channel. I can't believe I've been posting every week consistently for 3 weeks now. I hope I can maintain that. If you're new to this page, welcome. My name is Tolu. I'm a travel content creator. And if you've not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do that now. So today's topic is on what I thought about Egypt. So we're going to divide it into 3 categories. The first one would be about safety. The next one would just be general tips, things I found useful in Egypt. And the last one will be scams to avoid. If you follow me on Instagram or if you're here from Instagram, you see I really spoke a lot about scams in Egypt. So I'm going to be going very deep into that topic on this episode. So the first one would be, did I feel safe? In my honest opinion, I felt absolutely safe in Egypt. Quite alright, I did not go alone. Just bear in mind I did not go alone. And I mostly had a driver with us in most places we went to. But a few times where I had to go out alone, where I had to go out in the night, there was no question of, am I going to be jumped? And I've also heard racist things about Egypt and Egyptians. They're kind of very mean or very unwelcoming towards people of color. I sincerely, I had that at the back of my mind. But to be honest, they were all very welcoming, especially because, I don't know if it's because I was in the more touristy area, which was Cairo, and they're probably used to seeing more people, but right from the airport to the taxis to the hotel, everybody was really welcoming. The only thing that probably come off as weird was at the airport when we showed them our BRP and they had to do double checking to make sure if it was original or not. I don't know. But apart from that, to be honest, I felt really safe. There was no point where I felt like, oh my god, I'm in trouble, or oh my god, these people are going to nip things off me, or I'm not safe. So I actually felt safe there. I know that other people's experiences may be different, but this is my experience. I felt safe in Egypt. I also did not get catcalled. I didn't get catcalled. I didn't experience any of these things, that I already saw online, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, that you get catcalled a lot. But bear in mind, I did not go anywhere near the market. So I was there for the pyramids. I went to the pyramids. I went to the museums. I went to, the touristy places. So I didn't go into the heart of Egypt. And even when I had to walk about 7 minutes to get money at the ATM, I got stares. But I don't think I got catcalls. This is bearing in mind that everybody's experiences would totally be different. Now we're going to the tips section. Everything you need to know about when you're going to Egypt, at least things I think are very important and would help you navigate through Egypt. Number 1 tip is, you need to pre-book your airport transportation. It is super important because you don't want to land from that flight and start haggling prices with taxi drivers, with people that are probably out to extort you anyway. We don't want that. So it's just safer, it's better to pre-book your airport taxis and save yourself the hassle of doing all that stress. Number 2 is always hold cash. So personally, I would advise, because you're gonna need cash to get your visa on arrival, which is about $25, change money at the airport. So once you get to your hotel or you get into the main city of Cairo, You can change your currency if you're with one, or you can withdraw at the ATM. I use Revolut and they have very good rates. This is not an advert, but I really love Revolut and they have very good rates. So I just use them for all my travels and all of that. You're going to need loads of cash. And when I say loads, trust me, loads of cash. Because you can't pay by card every time. So just make sure your cash is always with you and ready to go. And you don't know when it may come in handy when you need to tip somebody. To be very honest, the fact that I had to haggle everything was very exhausting. So if you're a Nigerian, most particularly if you're a Lagosian, you should know that you have to haggle prices every time you go to like a public space, or you go to the market, or you go anywhere. So when I read this on the internet and I was like, how bad can it get? I'm Nigerian, I'm Lagosian, I'm used to it. Lagos haggling comes nowhere near what you'd experience in Egypt. It's like everybody wants to take something. Everybody's coming at you and they want you to buy something. To be honest, it was very exhausting. But this is a tip that our driver gave us. He said, when people come to you and say that they want you to buy this or they want you to patronize them, it may seem rude, but all you just have to do, you don't have to say thank you. Don't say thank you. Don't say next time. Don't say I don't have. Don't say I'm not interested. Just ignore. Fine, it may seem rude, but just ignore. And I tried it both ways. I tried to say no thank you, no thank you, and it just always came with a follow-up, like, okay, what do you need then? What can I do for you? Always came with a follow-up question. But if you just ignore and go where you're going to, you get less of that because they just learn to leave you alone. And that way you will not be forced to have conversations you don't want to have anyway. As someone who mostly travels through Europe, I'm pretty used to, going everywhere on my own. I do everything I want to do on my own without needing like a tour guide necessarily. I may book an activity online, but like I go from places to places. This is not the place to go without a tour guide. You don't go without a tour guide. You absolutely need the emphasis on the need. You need a tour guide. Most likely they're going to save you from all the hassle you get, people trying to hassle you, but it saves you the time, it saves you the stress. You get to learn more about the history, and things are just a little seamless with the tour guide. So you can just let's keep things moving. We're here to see the pyramids. We're not here to talk too much. And just in case you did not already know, drones are not allowed in Egypt. So if you're planning to take a drone, leave it at home. Before you land yourself in prison, leave your drones at home. Don't bother. Just immediately no. Immediately no. Don't do it. I do not know why so many people think the pyramids are in the desert. They are not in the desert. They are like right in the middle of the town. They're in the third biggest city in Egypt. Why do people think the pyramids are in the desert? So if you had expectations and you thought, yeah, I'm gonna get to go on a desert safari kind of cruise, no, that's not going to happen. The pyramids are not located in the desert. They're just right in broad daylight. You don't need anything extra to get into it. I think my final tip for this would be, ladies, it's a Muslim country. We need to learn to respect other people's culture. Please dress appropriately when you're going to Egypt. Dress appropriately. Try to blend in. This is not the time for you to wear that see-through dress, because obviously that's not what the locals would wear. This is not the time. And a bonus, I know I said this is the last, but a bonus one. If you see a camel or a horse on the road, don't be scared. That's the norm. Definitely the norm for you to see a random camel or a random horse just in the middle of a highway. And the third and the last section for this episode is how to avoid scams in Egypt. The first one that comes to my head is do not let anybody take pictures for you. When you get to the pyramids, you're of course going to see people just randomly, innocently walk up to you and be like, yeah, I want to take pictures for you, or I know how to do this, or I could help you while you're struggling. Your answer should be no. I cannot stress this enough. Your answer should be no, because like I said, I tried it both ways. I said yes to some and I said no to some. But the first person I said yes to, after taking pictures for us, decided to charge us 600 Egyptian pounds for taking pictures. That is about $20. $20 for a picture on your own phone. And even when you try to haggle, they can get very aggressive sometimes. I'm not saying they're aggressive people, but because this is what they do, this is what they're used to, it could get very tricky real quick. We want to avoid that. So if you cannot go with your tripod, if you're not going with your friend, then maybe you can allow that. Or like I said, go with a tour guide who will take you pictures for way less. Another way not to fall into scams would be, if you're going to use a service, if you absolutely have to use a service, you need to agree on the price before you get into it. They may tell you, oh, never mind, we'll talk about it later, or never mind, it's free. Nothing is free. Nothing is free in Egypt. Nothing is free. So don't say never mind. Agree on a price before you use the service, or else you may be paying exorbitantly for that service if you do not agree on a price prior to the time. If you're going to see the pyramids, the tickets they give you at the entrance will also suffice to see the Sphinx. So do not let people sell you other tickets and tell you, oh, no, you can't use this ticket to get into the Sphinx, or you can't use this ticket to get past this place. That ticket gives you entry into everywhere in the pyramid complex. Do not pay extra to do any other thing. And I think another one I almost fell for was they will tell you, oh, you need a camel to be able to get to this place where you can see the 9 pyramids. You need to ride a horse. You can't go by car to be able to get to this place. You can't go by car to be able to get... Everywhere is accessible by car when you're at the pyramid complex. Everywhere is accessible by car. You don't need to ride a horse. You don't need a camel. You can get there by car. You can also walk there if you need to, because it's about a 15-minute walk. You can definitely walk there. So do not let them tell you you need a camel or a horse, unless you explicitly want to ride one of those. And last but not the least, don't buy anything near the pyramid complex. They are like 10 to 15 times the original price. It's an absolute waste of money, and that is why you need a tour guide. I have put my driver's number here. This guy was amazing. Like, by my standards, it was a totally honest person. Just ensure that you don't buy anything near the pyramids. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're going to Egypt, do not forget my tips, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this post if you come across it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.